Welcome to the Dirt Court Jesters podcast, your home for dirt track racing across the country and right here in the Ohio Valley. In episode 23, You're Out of Line, High Limit to Australia, and Mr. Excitement, Tim Allison. I hope you guys are ready to get dirty. This week in dirt racing history, we're going back to July 9th of 2014 in Expo Speedway in Cortland, Ohio, where the Rush late models would be on hand and Max Blair would get the victory.
Let me talk to you!
This week's talking points, want to talk about Jacksonville Speedway announcing they're taking the month of July off to allow everyone time to heal. Jacksonville Speedway is going to return to racing on August 9th, and again, our thoughts and prayers to everyone involved there. Dirt Tracker on June 30th would discuss bolt-on weights specifically for USAC. Friday, June 28th, USAC was at Macon, and there were talk of two cars having additional weight outside of the rulebook, which thankfully Robert Ballou was willing to point out multiple times this week. Robert Ballou is always willing to point things out. You got to appreciate it. Robert Ballou talked in Victory Lane the following night about the weights and how something really hasn't been addressed with certain guys who he feels perhaps has a silver spoon. During Victory Lane on Friday, USAC officials were seen looking underneath the car of Mitchell Moles. Brady Bacon was also said to have additional weight outside of the specs allowed. The USAC rulebook says any additional weight must be between the frame rails and between the front and rear axle. If you've seen pictures, you know what the issue is there. I haven't heard anything from USAC about it, one way or the other, whether it was right or wrong. So I'm curious to see kind of what the outcome of that's going to be. I don't think you could just let this go away. We've said it time and time again. This day and age with social media, stuff doesn't go away. You got to address it. So kind of waiting to see what the outcome of that's going to be. Justin Fiedler would also talk about Always Race Day reporting on the World of Outlaws, checking on additional weight. Not because of the location of the weight, but because of the security of the weight. Weight's been flying off the cars, and we can all obviously understand how that could be a huge issue. Safety. And we talk about it weekly, and rightfully so. Safety's got to be there, not just for the drivers, but for the fans and the tracks as well. Jeremy Elliott would be the first to report the World of Outlaws exclusive restriction would be raised for the 4th of July week. As pointed out, the rainouts that they've had have been a driving force in all of that. Less chances to race, less money to make. Those guys who've had a chance to keep racing, give them a little bit of an advantage here going into the month of July. We know the money's already started to flow, and it's going to continue to flow going into Kings Royal to Eldora with a lot of money on the line there. And Connor Ferguson with Always Race Day would talk to Gio Scelzi Saturday night after Knoxville, and Gio said he was glad they were allowed to run, glad they raised the restriction for the week. It's close to the shop for those guys, and it's only a month out from the Knoxville Nationals, so it gets them some laps there as well. Devin Borden called for jumping the start. Unfortunately, it was 20 laps later while he was in the lead. Dave Andrews, the race director at Atomic, would get in on this discussion and point out the rule that Borden broke was the fact that he was not in the tracks of the car ahead of him. And he's not wrong. I mean, if you looked, you've seen the stills and whatnot. My issue is a couple things on this. Number one, and I think everybody agrees, 20 laps later, my example is if Devin Borden gets the lead, takes off, laps half the field, as the rule says, he could win that race and be docked spots. That's not the way to handle it. Nobody likes that. You got to change that. And furthermore, to expand on it, when it comes to those kinds of starts, if you've watched dirt racing at all for any period of time, you've seen it weekly, if not more often than that. Starts like that don't get called back. I don't know. I mean, look, every race track's got their race directors, and they're going to call it the way they see it. And look, I appreciate it. It's not my job. I'm sure it's not an easy one. But part of this rule I just don't like. And, you know, you race one place one night, and maybe you have a similar set of rules, but the race director handles it differently. All right, but when it comes to this, 20 laps later is not it. I think I was more upset than Devin Borden was. Now later on, he would kind of speak out, but initially in his interview on the podium, he handled it pretty well. Can we blame the virtual flagman for this? July 5th, Dirt Tracker Daily, Justin Fiedler talks high limit expansion and the possibility of high limit racing in Australia for 3 to 5 races. Could we have high limit in Australia during Christmas break? Please. And we're going to wrap up this week's talking points. Aaron Reitzel's still not clear. I want to give a shout out to Victory Fuel. From Throttle Punch to Lucky Lemon, both flavors are dynamite. 12 packs and 4 packs and even some cool merchandise as well. Go to drinkvictory.com and use the code Gestures10 at checkout to save. drinkvictory.com and use the code Gestures10 at checkout to save.
Acknowledge me.
This week's race recap. June 30th, BAPS and PA Speed Week, night number 3. Danny Dietrich would come away with a win. Anthony Macri in second. Kyle Reinhardt in third. Red Hill Raceway for the Summer Nationals. Tyler Erb with the win. Jason Fager in second. And Dylan McGowan in third. River Cities, World of Outlaw Late Models. Brian Shirley gets his first World of Outlaw Late Model win of 2024. Devin Moran in second. And Max McLaughlin in third. July 1st, Lincoln PA Speed Week night number 4. Anthony Macri gets the win again. Devin Borden in second and Cody Hartlaub in third. Proctor Speedway XR Super Series, Bobby Pierce with the win. Devin Moran in second and Mike Marlar in third. July 2nd, Old Number 1 Speedway for the Summer Nationals. And Tanner English would come away with the win. Rodney Melvin in second and Ethan Dotson in third. Logan Seavey was running a strong third before a mechanical issue would end his night. Unfortunate for Logan Seavey, but are we really shocked the guy can drive a race car? It doesn't matter what he's in. Put him in it. Let him go. Grandview, PA Speed Week, night number 5. Logan Schuchart with the win. Anthony Macri in second. Devin Borden in third. Gondik Speedway and XR Super Series, where Nick Hoffman would get the win. Bobby Pearson second. And Devin Moran in third. July 3rd, Waynesfield for the Jack Hewitt Classic. GLSS would be on hand, and Mike Keegan would get the win. Zane DeVault in second, Casey Genderjack in third. GLTS there, and guess who? Ricky Lewis with the win. Nice run for Matt Westfall in second, and Cody Swanson in third. Our guy Ryan Barr with a nice top 10 with the 10th place finish there. The Midwest Thunder Midgets also on hand, and Cale Coons will get the win. Luke Hall in second and Zach Weigel in third. Benton Speedway for the Summer Nationals was rained out. Ogilvy Raceway had the XR Super Series, where Bobby Pierce would get the win. Devin Moran would finish in second. And Ricky Thornton Jr. would round out the podium. Kokomo for the Vince Osman Spectacular. Robert Ballou with the win. Mitchell Moles in second and Harley Burns in third. Magnolia Motor Speedway had USCS, where Brady Baker would get the win. Dale Howard in second and Derek Hagar in third. Merritt Speedway had the Valvoline American Late Model Series night number 1. Brandon Thilby would get the win. Rusty Schlenk in second and Travis Stemler in third. Mudlick Valley with late models and 5,000 to win, unfortunately, were rained out. Red Hill was going to have USAC sprints, but they were rained out. Port Royal PA Speed Week night number 6. And Anthony Macri would get the win. Brett Marks in second and Logan Wagner would round out the podium. 4th of July, July 4th, Hagerstown and PA Speed Week, night number 7, and Logan Schuchart gets the win. Troy Wagman in second, and Anthony Macri in third. Big boost heading towards Eldora and the Kings Royal for Logan Schuchart. I think it was 3 wins in a week's time, so he's got to feel good about that, because going into that, I don't think he had a podium up to that first win, if I recall correctly. So definitely got to feel good about the way things are going here for Logan Schuchart as of late. Tyler County had Rush Late Models. Unfortunately, they were rained out. Clay Hill Motorsports Park And the Firecracker 100 USCS, Dale Howard with the win, Terry Gray in second, and Lance Moss in third. Deer Creek was supposed to have the World of Outlaw late models, but they were rained out. Merritt and the Valvoline American late models, night number 2, Chad Finley with the win, Eric Spangler in second. And Donna Marcoullier would round out the podium. Riverside International, the Summer Nationals, Rodney Melvin with the win, Ethan Dodson in second, and Tanner English in third. Terre Haute was going to have USAC Silver Crown, but they got rained out. July 5th, Attica AFCS 410s. Cale Thomas with the win, Zest Sabo in second, and Cap Henry in third. AFCS 305s, where Brian Sabato would get the win, Steve Rando in second, and Logan Rail in third. Late models also there at Attica. Kyle Moore with the win, Colin Shipley in second, J.R. Gentry would round out the podium. Lake Ozark Speedway Power Eye Takeover night number 1, the Power Eye 410 sprints, and Hunter Schurenberg gets the win. Emerson Axum in second, and Jake Bubak in third. Power Eye Midgets, Thomas Meserol with the win, Zoe Pierce in second, and Gunnar Setzer would round out the podium. Williams Grove and PA Speed Week night number 8, Anthony Macri with the win, Chad Trout in second, and Brett Marks would round out the podium. Paducah International in the Summer Nationals, Tanner English with the win, Joe Chalmers in second, and Clayton Stuckey from 20th to 3rd. Clayton Stuckey would have won the chicken dinner, but he's got to share the chicken dinner for the week. You'll hear about that here later on. Deer Creek had the World of Outlaw late models night number 1. Ryan Gustin would slide Nick Hoffman in 3 and 4. And it's a drag race to the line, and Ryan Gustin wins by .0009 seconds. Ryan Gustin with the win. Nick Hoffman in close second, and Bobby Pierce would round out the podium. World of Outlaw late models night number 2 there at Deer Creek. Brandon Shepard, flag to flag, he gets the win. Bobby Pierce in second, and Ryan Gustin in third. Hilltop had mod lights where Jimmy Smith would get the win. Nash Gerke in second, and Jake Bowman in third. Limaland in the Tim Allison tribute. GLSS on hand. Casey Gingerjack gets the win. Dustin Daggett in second, and Jared Hortzman in third. Had fun watching Chase Dunham bang off the wall in 4 a few times. It was rough, but man, he was trying to get through the field. Whether he was going up top and trying to go around the outside or trying to cut through and go to the bottom, the kid was trying to get up to the front. Nice to watch him race there. Zane Duvall also tried to move towards the front. I believe he went from 14th to 4th at one time and finished 6th. So some good racing there. Modifieds also on hand. Dylan Woodling will get the win. Garrett Rons in second. Kurt Spalding in third. And a nice 4th place finish by the Jedi Jerry Bowersock. Stock cars, Todd Sherman with the win. Tony Anderson in second. And Sean Valeni would round out the podium. Lincoln Park and the Bill Gardner Sprintacular night number 1 for the USAC Sprints, and Logan Seavey would set a new track record of 11.959, 11.959, besting the old track record of 12.276. Logan Seavey was on a rail, and it didn't stop there. Logan Seavey gets the win, Robert Ballou in second, and Mitchell Moles would round out the podium. Muller was going to have OVSCA, but they got rained out. Ohio Valley Speedway and the Rush late models, unfortunately, were also rained out, as was Portsmouth and Lucas Oil late models. Raceway 7 had late models, and Dave Hess Jr. got the win. Brock Pinkerus in second, and Kyle Zimmerman in third. Modifieds there as well. Nate Young with the win. Joel Watson in second, and Dave Hess Jr. would round out the podium. Wayne County was going to have Fast and Boss, but they got rained out. July 6th, Atomic had a $20 carload. 410s on hand, and Brandon Wimmer would get the win. Cole Duncan in second, and Creed Kimmel in third. IMCA Race Saver 305s there. Chris Miller with the win. John Paintner Jr. in second, and Carson Dillon from 13th to 3rd. Modifieds as well. Kenny Dixon gets the win. Dalton Cheney in second, and Travis Dixon would round out the podium. Brownstown and the Valvoline American Ironman late models. Devin Gilpin with the win. Jordan Weaver in second, and Rusty Schlink would round out the podium. Clarksville in the Summer Nationals. My Race Pass had 11 classes posted for this event. What? Well, in the late models, David Brazelli would get the win. Jason Frame in second. And Dylan McCowan would round out the podium. Deer Creek and the Go for $50,000 to win for the World of Outlaw late models in night number 3. And Bobby Pierce would come away with the win. Brandon Shepard in second. And Tyler Erb would round out the podium. Lincoln Park for the Bill Gardner Spectacular night number 2. USAC Sprint Cars. Logan Seavey again with the win. Brady Bacon in second. And CJ Leary in third. Goods Raceway had some junior sprints. Carson Kramer with the win. Zachary Dials in second. And Rocco Ledford would round out the podium. Fremont AFCS 410s. Stuart Brubaker gets the win. Cap Henry in second. And DJ Foose would round out the podium. AFCS 305s. Dustin Stroop with the win. Jamie Miller in second. Tyler Sheets in third. Dirt trucks also there, where Sean Valenti would come from 8th place to get the win. Keith Sorg in second, and Dan Henning would round out the podium. Lake Ozark Speedway Power Eye Takeover night number 2. Power Eye 410s. Hunter Schoenberg with the win. Joe B. Miller in second, and Jace Park would round out the podium. Power Eye Midgets. Thomas Meserol gets the win. Gunnar Setzer in second. Shannon McQueen in third. Lawrenceburg and the Merle Downey Memorial with $5,444 to win, $440 to start. For the modifieds, and Tyler Nicely would come away with the victory. Danny Schwartz in second. And Matt Hamilton from 20th to 3rd shares the chicken dinner for the week. Way to get up on the wheel, Matty Hamilton. Steel Block late models also there, where Zach Milby would get the win. Lucas McDonald in second, and John Melvin in third. Muskingum County and the Freedom 60. Lucas Oil late models, huge crowd there at Muskingum County. Devin Moran, the Ohio man, leads all 60 laps and gets the win. Congratulations, Devin Moran. Ricky Thornton Jr. in second, and Max Blair in third. Sonoya was going to have Hunt the Front, but they got rained out. Port Royal and the Greg Hotnick Classic, which was PA Speed Week night number 9. And Logan Wagner in the 69K gets the win. Anthony Macri in second. And Brent Marks would round out the podium. Nice 4th place finish for our guy, Justin Whittle. Tri-City Motor Speedway, GLSS, Max Stanball with the win. Jared Hortzman in second, and Greg Dellman in third. GLTS also there, where Max Frank would get the win. Steve Irwin in second, and Jason Ferguson rounding out the podium. Wayne County's Fast 5. The 410s, and Brandon Spithaller gets the win. Number 2, Ricky Peterson Jr. comes in second place. Nice run by Ricky Peterson. And Leighton Wagner would round out the podium. Late models there. Kyle Moore with the win. J.R. Gentry in second. And Mike Borez in third. Modifieds, Caden Alexander with the win. Ryan Markham in second. And Jason King would finish in third. Today, as we're recording this, July 7th, Brush Creek's got $10,000 to win for the late models, honoring Jackie Boggs. Fairmont Speedway is going to have the XR Super Series, Spielens Grove, and PA Speed Week night number 10, and the finale of PA Speed Week. And Hobstadt and the fellas with dirt tracks and rib racks. The Summer Nationals pay a visit, and the Valvoline American Ironman late models will also be on hand.
Woo!
This week's local coverage, kind of want to go back and talk about my visit to Limaland on July 7th of 2024 and the tribute to Mr. Excitement, Tim Allison. A really good crowd ended up being there at Limaland, and a really good effort by the track. Showed up before the race. Obviously, they were watering it. After they watered it, one guy went out, one truck, and was running it in, and I was concerned at that point, I'll be honest. But they stayed on top of it. They watered it a couple more times, if I remember correctly, and had as many trucks as they could get out there to run it in. Really good effort. Didn't get dusty, but for a slight bit of time there in the A main for the sprint cars. But, I mean, it wasn't bad at all. A little muddy at the beginning, but that can be expected when you got some moisture in the track. The only issue really was guys were getting up probably 3/4 of the way in 1 and 2, but when it came to 3 and 4, they were only willing to go up about halfway, and that mud, dirt, whatever you want to call it, that fluff that was at the top of 3 and 4 was not generous to cars. One modified flipped because he got too high and got in that rough stuff, and I mean, it was bouncy. It was, it reminded me of like those old World War II videos where the Jeep's going over the hills. If you got up out of the groove, you better hang on. But it was a good effort. They knocked it down before the sprint car A main came out. And it gave some guys an opportunity to get up to the top. Not too many could do it, but some could do it. It was cool seeing Caleb Hartman lead the field in the 4 wide with the dual paint scheme honoring the red 11X and the white 11 that Tim Allison was known for. Only had 19 360s on hand. Would have liked to seen that a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit bigger purse. Make this race what it should be. But glad to get back to Lima Land and glad to see the effort they were putting in to put on a good race, especially the tribute to Tim Allison. The Brad Doty Classic presented by Ohio Logistics is at Etka Raceway Park on Tuesday, July 16th. Camping has been sold out. You can go to atticaracewaypark.com to get your tickets. Kings Royal is slowly but surely coming up. We're in the single digits, folks. Excited, can't wait to get to the track. Less than 40 spots left in the main grandstands for Saturday night's Kings Royal. If you're trying to sit in the main grandstands, you better get them now because they are not going to be there. Going to be a packed house as always at Eldora for the Kings Royal. And if you're there Kings Royal week at Eldora, the Tap House Turn by Sure Shot Tap House, $50 gets you a bus ride to and from Eldora to downtown Greenville. You can check out Sure Shot Tap House. They got a game room there as well. Also, some other stores in the area, and I think they hook you up with a little goodie bag and a little card to get you started on your drinks. You can check out the new game room at Sure Shot and enjoy a good time before the race there on Friday. Check out SureShotTapHouse.com for more information.
I'm the tower of power, too sweet to be sour. I'm funky like a monkey. Sky's the limit and space is the place.
Series teams, drivers, tracks, dirt media. This is your time, and this is your spotlight. Spotlight's on, and this week's spotlight is on Mr. Excitement, Tim Allison. July 5th was the 4th annual tribute to Mr. Excitement. I thought it would be fitting to spotlight the one and only Tim Allison. Tim had started his racing career at the age of 13, from go-karts to mini sprints to 305s, even dabbling in 410s. But Tim would be remembered for his success with a 360 under the hood. I can certainly say I owe my love for sprint car racing to Tim Allison. I can remember back in the day when I was a kid, he was running a black mini sprint at Lima Land, and I've been a fan of his ever since. In Tim's 360 days, when he was running the OJ, I found out my mom went to school with it, Tim's wife, and somehow a conversation between them would ensue, and one day I'd end up with some pictures of Tim's car and some autographs. Very cool. Still have those to this day. And kind of looking back on Tim's career, TJ Slideways had a great article remembering Tim Allison. Sprint car stuff has a picture of Tim in the white Allen Knott number 48 at Eldora. I can't say that I had seen that before, so it was kind of cool coming across that. And I also found an article published by Norman's Media in 2010 where Tim noted NASCAR driver Mark Martin when explaining the age ain't a thing if you're still winning. Love him referring to Mark Martin. Big Mark Martin fan here. So it was cool to see that reference. Many also remember Tim bringing back the awesome paint scheme in memory of his good friend and fellow driver Travis the Rabbit Miller. Tim won multiple championships with what most would know as the National Racing Alliance, as well as track championships at Millstream, Oakshade, Limeland, and Eldora. Tim's sprint car career would end with 101 feature wins. TJ Buffenbarger of TJ Slideways was kind enough to share with me an article that was archived that he wrote in July 10th of 2003, where he covered Tim's dominating 2003 4th of July weekend. Tim won 3 nights in a row that weekend, and on the last night, Tim would slide Jason Blonde while racing for 5th, putting Blonde into the wall, which would lead into an altercation in Victory Lane between Tim Allison and Dennis Kraft's team, who was a teammate of Jason Blonde's. TJ would note, I had the pleasure of being around Allison's team a lot of the week. Tim seemed to have more jump in his step all weekend. While watching fireworks, he seemed like a little kid lost in every boom and crack. That fun translated to the racetrack where Allison performed at the top of his game. Blake Lorette would also post conversations with Tim over the years going like this: the track is real rough tonight. Hear me out, Tim. Have you given any thought to not having all four wheels in the shit and running on the smooth part where everybody else is? Just saying. You gotta love that, and you gotta just appreciate what kind of driver Tim was. And Blake would also reach out to me and say, Tim treated me so good. I think that's where the love of him came from. He never demanded anything from me, but with how he treated me, I was willing to give him everything I had. Plus, he was exhausted every time he came off the track. I never questioned his effort once. That's the reason they gave him the nickname Mr. Excitement. And those who got to see Tim race will always remember the excitement.
I drank a beer. I drank another beer. 3 beers. 4 beers. Oh no.
Wrapping up this week's episode and racing to come, July 8th, Lincoln's got Flow Racing Night in America. Fairmont Raceway with XR Super Series. July 9th, Red Dirt Raceway, USAC Midgets. Clay County Fair Speedway and XR Super Series. Shady Hill Speedway in the Summer Nationals. July 10th, Mason City Motor Speedway and XR Super Series. Hartford Speedway in the Summer Nationals. Beaver Dam and the Jim Boyd Memorial with the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars. July 11th, 34 Raceway and Lucas Oil Late Models. Bedford Speedway, World of Outlaw Late Models. Butler Speedway, the Summer Nationals. Oswego Speedway. Thunder on the Grand, night number 1. The Southern Ontario Sprints and GLSS, $5,000 to win. July 12th, Circle City is going to have fast, modifieds, and stocks, as well as non-wing micros. Bloomington with the Maverick Sprint Car Series. Crystal Motor Speedway in the Summer Nationals. Hilltop and Steel Block Late Models. Moeller in the Midwest Thunder Midgets. UMP modifieds as well. Ohio Valley Speedway is going to have Tri-State Street Stocks, Late Models, and mods. Back to Oswego Speedway. Thunder on the Grand, night number 2. The Southern Ontario Sprint Cars and GLSS. $10,000 to win for the 360s. Bravo, Oswego Speedway. Paducah with the Midwest Dirt Nationals, night number 1. Power I 410s. Painesville Speedway is going to have Mario Kart night. Painted junk cars themed after the Nintendo video game. Also allow 15 and under and free with a paying adult. And they've got a Queen of Hearts drawing. If you're interested, Painesville Speedway, check it out. Sharon, the World of Outlaw Late Models. Sugar Creek Raceway, USCS. Tri-City Speedway and the Lucas Oil Late Models. Wilmot and the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, July 13th. Fremont's going to have AFCS 410s and AFCS 305s, as well as trucks. Lawrenceburg's going to have 410 non-wings, mods, stocks, and Hornets. Paducah International and the Midwest Dirt Nationals, night number 2. $7,000 to win for the Power I 410 sprints. Dixie Speedway is going to have USCS. Florence Speedway, $3,000 to win for late models. Goods Raceway is running Lucas Oil Speedway and the Lucas Oil Late Models. Oakshade and the Summer Nationals. Paragon's going to have fast. Portsmouth's going to have high limit in the 7th annual Dean Niddle Memorial for $25,554 to win. Sharon is going to have the World of Outlaw Late Models, and Wilmot and the Badger 40 for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. And July 14th, Wayne County with the Summer Nationals, Terre Haute Action Track, and a stock car Sizzler with ILMS Late Models and UMP Modifieds. That wraps up this week's episode. We'll just have to keep moving to the front, one lap at a time.
Goodbye. Mwah, and good night, bang.
Thanks for listening to the Dirt Court Jesters podcast. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a shout out. Let your friends know on X and YouTube as well at Dirt Court Jester. and we hope to see you guys at the track.